The Indus River is the lifeline of Pakistan. It's the source of life for millions of people, especially in the Sindh province. The river's waters irrigate vast agricultural lands. They support a delicate ecosystem. Recently, plans for new canals from the Indus River have sparked outrage. Protests have erupted across Sindh. These protests highlight the critical importance of water resources. They also reveal the deep-seated anxieties surrounding their distribution. The proposed canals are intended to divert water for various purposes. These purposes include irrigation and industrial use. However, the people of Sindh fear these projects will have disastrous consequences. They believe the canals will deprive their lands of the water they need. This could lead to desertification and economic ruin. The protests are a testament to the desperation of a community. This community is deeply connected to its land and river. These protests are not just about water, they are about survival. The people of Sindh rely heavily on agriculture. Their livelihoods depend on the Indus River's waters. The construction of new canals is seen as a direct threat to their way of life. The protests reflect a growing concern over water scarcity. Climate change is already impacting water availability. This makes equitable water management a critical issue in Pakistan. The protests in Sindh underscore the vital need for dialogue and consensus building. Open communication between policymakers and local communities is crucial. This ensures development projects do not come at the cost of people's livelihoods. The situation demands careful consideration. Sustainable solutions are needed to address the water needs of all stakeholders. The Indus River is a shared resource. Its management requires a delicate balance to ensure a prosperous future for all. The protests against the new canal projects have shaken Sindh. They started in mid-April 2025 and quickly gained momentum. Various groups have joined the movement. These include farmers, students, and political activists. The protests have brought many cities and towns to a standstill. Demonstrations have been held in major urban centers like Jamshoro and Larkana. Smaller towns like Naushiro Feroz and Sujawal have also witnessed widespread participation. The protests have taken various forms. Demonstrators have blocked highways and staged sit-ins. They have voiced their concerns through passionate speeches and slogans. The most affected route is the National Highway. This vital artery connects Sindh to Punjab. Its closure at points like Halani and Kandiaro has disrupted interprovincial travel and trade. The protests have not been limited to rallies and roadblocks. They have extended to commercial centers. Shopkeepers and traders have expressed solidarity by observing shutter-down strikes. The scale of the protests is significant. They are not confined to a few isolated pockets. The widespread participation indicates the gravity of the situation. People from all walks of life have united against the perceived threat to their water security. The intensity of these protests is palpable. They are driven by a deep sense of fear and anger. The protesters believe their voices are not being heard. They feel their concerns are being ignored. The situation reflects a growing distrust between the people and the authorities. The protests in Sindh highlight a critical issue in water resource management. They underscore the importance of community consultation and consent. The government must address the concerns of the people. Ignoring their voices could lead to further unrest and instability. The protests in Sindh stem from a deep-rooted fear, the fear of losing their lifeline. For generations, the people of Sindh have depended on the Indus River for their survival. Their fertile lands, their crops, their very existence are intricately linked to the river's flow. The proposed canals, they fear, will divert water away from their lands. This diversion could lead to a devastating consequence: desertification. Desertification is a slow and insidious process. It is the transformation of fertile land into barren wasteland. The primary cause is the lack of water. Without sufficient water, the land dries up, crops fail, the ecosystem collapses. The people of Sindh have witnessed the devastating effects of desertification firsthand. They have seen once fertile lands turn into arid deserts. They have experienced the heartbreak of crop failures and the loss of livelihoods. The fear of desertification is not unfounded. Climate change is a stark reality. It is already impacting water availability in the region. The Indus River, like many rivers around the world, is facing reduced water flow. This makes the equitable distribution of water even more critical. The protesters argue that the new canals will exacerbate the problem. They believe the canals will prioritize the needs of some at the expense of others. The protests in Sindh are not just about water scarcity. They're about food security, economic stability, and social justice. The construction of new canals has the potential to disrupt the delicate balance of water distribution. This could have far-reaching consequences for the people, the environment, and the economy of Sindh. The Sindh Canal protests have sent ripples through Pakistan's political landscape. They have brought to the forefront the simmering tensions over water rights. The issue has also exposed the fault lines within the ruling coalition. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, the chairman of the Pakistan People's Party, PPPP, and a key figure in the coalition, has taken a strong stance against the canal projects. He has threatened to pull his party out of the government if the projects proceed. Bhutto Zardari's stance reflects the sensitivity of the issue in Sindh. The PPP draws much of its support base from the province. The party cannot afford to alienate its voters by being seen as complacent on an issue as critical as water. The protests have put the ruling coalition in a precarious position. The government is now faced with a difficult choice: proceed with the canal projects and risk further alienating the people of Sindh, or halt the projects and face potential economic and political consequences. The protests have highlighted the need for a more inclusive and participatory approach to water resource management in Pakistan. The government needs to engage in a meaningful dialogue with all stakeholders, particularly those who are directly affected by water-related projects. A failure to address the concerns of the people could lead to further unrest and instability. The outcome of the Sindh Canal protests remains uncertain. However, one thing is clear: the protests have brought the issue of water rights to the forefront of national discourse. They have served as a stark reminder of the importance of water for the people of Pakistan, particularly in the face of climate change and growing water scarcity. The protests are a call for action. They demand a more equitable and sustainable approach to water resource management, one that prioritizes the needs of the people and ensures a water-secure future for all.